Hello and welcome back to another episode of Venture Side of Things. Tonight, once again, I have Paul. Last time we talked was about 3 months later, correct, Paul?
Yeah.
All right. Now, tonight we are doing the split screen because obviously we are in a pandemic and we have to have social distancing. Last time we were together, this time we're going to be split screening it. So the last time we were here was about, 3 months ago, Paul?
Yeah, it was pretty much when the pandemic was just like about kicking off. You know, they were just starting to really talk about mitigation, if you will. You know, the gloves, the masks, the cleaning the surfaces and all that.
Yeah.
Which I find it kind of ironic that now they're saying, no, really, you don't have to worry about surfaces.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, in the beginning, obviously, it was new, so they did not exactly know what was going on. They said everything was on the surfaces, so don't get me wrong. A lot of people went out, bought Lysol, bought all the hand sanitizers. I even have it myself. But then again, I had it prior to this anyway, because of my autoimmune. Regardless, I don't want to catch the, the H1N1 or the flu.
Right.
So that was something prior to that. But how do you feel about businesses? I don't want to say they're really forcing you, although you do have to wear a mask when you do go into businesses. But are you able to wear a mask, no problem? Like, no complaints about it?
You talking about me personally?
Yeah, you personally. Like, do you care?
Well,
is it like whatever?
Here's my personal theory
Okay.
of how I do what I'm doing, and this applies only to me. I don't say one way or the other for anybody else. I don't ever wear a mask unless I need to wear a mask to go into an establishment to get something I want.
Yeah, like you don't wear it while you're driving, right? Because that's a little weird to me.
No, only a moron would wear one by themselves in the car.
I mean, unless you're an Uber driver and you have somebody in the back or something.
First of all, if you have no passengers and you're in your car, there's no need to wear a mask. I mean, depending on the quality of the mask you have, that can diminish your breathing capacity.
Well, I did read somewhere that somebody did pass out from having the mask because it's pretty tight on your face, and I guess they kept breathing in with their own carbon monoxide or whatever, and I guess they passed out and either crashed. I don't even know exactly what happened. I didn't read too far into it, but then I'm like, how can that happen? Like, why would you even drive with it on?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple like a local small things that they got the sign, by order of rat face governor that. No mask, no service or whatever.
Yeah, well, what is the original one? No shirt, no shoes, no service?
Yeah, no shirt, no shoes, no service.
Now you have to add masks to that, right?
Yeah, there's a couple little places where basically I know there's really nobody else, maybe one or two people, and it's all set up to keep separate. And I know they're not going to say nothing to me, so I just get what I got to get and get out.
Yeah, no, but you wear your mask, you're saying, or you don't wear your mask?
No, I don't. No.
Okay.
What? Dude, I said this the last time on the show, and nothing has changed really about what I said the last time. If you think about it, what was the 4 things I said was important from a common sense approach? Clean your surfaces.
Yep, cleanliness, right? Yes.
Keep your surfaces clean. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. And social distancing. If you think about it, those were the 4 things we talked about from a common sense standpoint, and that has not changed.
Well, that should be normalcy anyway. Regardless, that should be normalcy throughout
your day. You wearing a mask
right
right
now? I do, only when I go out.
No. You wearing a mask right now?
Oh, no. Right now, I'm not wearing a mask.
I'm not wearing a mask right now. You know why? Because there's no chance of us being in contact.
Yeah, obviously. But like, let's say if I go to a store, just because I don't feel like having the hassle, right? It's almost like those people that when they get pulled over, and they pop off some shit, and then obviously that's how they get shot, and that's how they get taken away or whatnot. Well, I don't want to go to a store and have an argument with any employee, so I just wear my mask, go in, do what I got to do, and come out. Simple and easy. Nobody bothers you. I don't bother them.
No, like when I go to the grocery store.
Yeah. Okay,
I wear a mask because you never know. You could turn a corner and somebody's going to be within 1 foot of you.
Well, yeah. Have you noticed going down though the aisles that if you see somebody else, it's almost like, oh man, who was here first? And then either I or they leave the aisle. But personally, I just stay in the aisle, get what I want, and I leave. I don't really contact anybody.
Dude, my wife don't even want to go to the food store with me anymore because, if I have to go into the food store, I look at it this way: I don't go to a food store for fun.
Yeah, obviously.
I have a mission. I have a list in my head. I even plot out my route through the store so I don't have to backtrack, okay?
Well, you're like that one meme that they made where guys go in, they have one line, and then the women have lines all over the place.
Exactly. I'm like, and I move fast. I mean, even without a mask, she can't keep up with me at the pace I'm walking.
Well, you have to, because you know what? Listen, as a man myself, I know what I want. You have a mission. So when I go to the mall, when I go to the food store, like if I want ice pops, I go there for like the pudding pops or whatever type of pop or orange juice. Boom, I know where it is. I beeline to it, get it, go to the line, and get the hell out of there. I'm not trying to wait around and watch people and see what happens. Now, if I'm walking and I see something or something clicks on my mind, like, oh, I need some deodorant. Oh, I need some toothpaste. Oh, toilet paper. Oh, something else. Then yeah, all right, I'll stop by. Or even so, I'll call the wife, be like, hey, I'm here. Do you need anything else that you remember? Boom, she'll tell me. I'll go get it and be out 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean? I'm not walking the aisles. Like I think in the beginning when this was really, really, really big, I think I went to Target locally over here and I saw people, instead of going in and out, just getting what they wanted, they were looking around at clothes. They were looking at the TVs. They were looking at the list. And I'm like, hey, people, they're only letting a certain amount of people in at the same time, right. 50. So when one walks out, one walks in. So now you got a line of, say, 200-300 people waiting outside. Why are you taking your time? Get in, get your shit, and get the fuck out. Let the next person in so that way everybody can be happy and nobody's online outside ready to strangle or beat the shit out of somebody in the parking lot. It's like Black Friday. You know what I mean? When you walk out with that expensive TV and you're looking over your shoulder like, who's going to mug me and go into my car?
No, I think a lot of people have I'd say, become more comfortable and eased in to the practices. You notice they're not getting too close to each other. Most of them are wearing a mask. I don't know about you, but I don't wear gloves for any of that type of stuff.
No, the gloves are worse. Worst thing to wear.
Hand sanitizer. So I just get, back to my car, pull out my hand sanitizer before I touch my car and stuff. I've already wiped my hands off, taken my mask off. And I'm back in my car.
Well, the gloves are the worst thing to get. The gloves are actually worse than not wearing a mask because you touch something that's contaminated, and then what do? You start touching your pocketbook, your clothes, your shoes. You even touch your kids. You touch your keys, their door, the handle. Whatever you touch after touching something that's infected with those gloves, you're cross-contaminating all over the place. But then here's something else I wanted to talk about. Then you get these idiots that they wear gloves, they wear masks, they get in their car, and they take them off and just throw them in the motherfucking parking lot. So now you have gloves, you have masks, you have whatever bullshit in the parking lot, and now you're like, who the hell is going to clean this shit up, right? So now, and then people are complaining, oh, they don't got this, they don't got that. Well, take your goddamn gloves home, disinfect them, and rewear them again. Latex. Not like you're a mechanic and they're going to break, or a doctor where you're touching blood.
I have a little bag for garbage for any of that kind of stuff. It's right in the car.
Listen, normal people would do that. I mean, obviously, if this is a pandemic going on, you don't want to create more hazardous, wasted material. It's almost like those people that have they use needles, right? They have a special garbage that I think the doctors, the hospital gives them to put the needles in to dispose of them with. Right, you're not going to take an insulin shot and throw it out the window onto the curb, right?
Well, you shouldn't.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, that's almost like what these people are doing. Wearing a glove, get in a car, like, oh, I'm not throwing these out at home, and throw them on the fucking floor for some other person or worker or passerby to clean this shit up. Listen, if I saw that shit in the parking lot, man, I'm going to say something. But hey, pick up your fucking gloves, or else I'm going to pick them up for you and fucking punch them in your face. Especially in the area where you live. You want to keep it clean. You don't want people like messing everything up. But that's just me. A lot of people, they rather just, whip out their cell phones, record it, World Star, or put it on, make a meme of it or whatnot, make somebody famous for bullshit.
That's the one thing that, I don't know, yes, maybe it's my age or whatever, or maybe my career, the last 30 years, but I cannot fathom how people sit there and film bad shit going on.
Oh, yeah.
And don't do nothing about it.
I know. It's like be a fucking hero.
If you're going to be a coward, just keep on moving, keep walking.
Exactly.
Don't stand there and watch and not help or call the cops or do something.
I see this shit all the time, especially with these on Facebook. You have all these groups, and they post all these videos where people are getting in accidents or people getting beat up, and then people just standing around. And I'm not talking 1 or 2 people. It's like a crowd of fucking like 30, 40 people watching this fight. If you all get together, you can all stop it one shot. Everybody wants to get famous on somebody else's misfortune. That's what it is. Everybody's selfish and greedy because that's how they want to live their life, man.
It's kind of sad.
It's very sad, man. It's very sad. What are you going to do?
Well, I'm kind of curious because now that we're this far into it, okay, and since basically I just told you from almost 3 months ago when we talked about this,
Yeah, and we were person to person then, sitting right
yeah,
next to each
but
other.
to now,
Yeah.
okay, my feelings on what the deal is have not really changed. What has changed a lot is now I'm having some real turmoil with how it's being handled, especially like in our state, like in New Jersey.
Now, do you have turmoil with the federal government, say like Trump and his administration, or
No,
the
no,
local government, like state government?
no. My turmoil across the country,
Okay.
but in particular here, is with the state government, the way things are being run. And I think we even had a little back and forth on Facebook about this with some of the numbers.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah. I think you posted something about the numbers, the difference between New Jersey or New York, sorry, New York and Florida,
yeah,
and although I agree with some things, um, me thinking about it was like, you know what? Possibly because Florida didn't have a lot of tourism prior to this pandemic, and I was stating that New York has tourism 24/7, especially from China or parts of the globe that actually were having the pandemic and nobody knew about it. So I want to say that a lot of New Yorkers definitely got hit quick without knowing about it. You know what I mean? And then I said that New York was number one, and then New Jersey was number two. And the reason I said that is because a lot of the New York workforce lives in New Jersey. So you go to
yeah.
work in the morning, you contract this
Oh, yeah.
disease with
Well,
contact and
my
whatnot. Yeah,
wife, my dad worked in New York but lived in Jersey since we moved out of New York.
everybody does that. Okay, so they come over here to the suburbs, and now you're bringing that shit into New Jersey from New York, and now everybody's getting infected. And then obviously you have the people in New Jersey where they don't give a shit, and they're like, "Hey, infringing my rights, I'm gonna go out and do this and this." And then you have the normal people that are like, "Fuck it, might as well just go with the flow."
Well, what we know now, and I got to admit, okay, when I say we, I mean what you're hearing publicly from the so-called experts and everybody else. From what we know now, if we hadn't known what we know now in the very beginning, we made huge mistakes, okay, in a
Yeah.
lot of areas.
Now
Now,
you're talking.
right
Now you're
now,
talking. You're talking just state governments.
no, I'm talking about even federally,
Okay.
okay? If what I'm trying to say is this, I think if the president knew when it started what he knows today, he would not have shut down the economy. There would have been no need. Okay. Now, personally, I think getting all the advice he may have been getting from all the so called medical experts, since they didn't know what they were doing, it was kind of a good move to do what he did from the beginning to try to keep this thing down as low as possible.
Now you're talking
But
about the
as
ban.
they learn more and more, like you can see now, the president has already been saying it's time to get back into things and phasing in and doing this. And really, it comes down to your Democratic governors who are the most resistant to it for like the most asinine reasons I've heard, especially that witch in Michigan, Whitmer.
Yeah.
That's what they call her, Witchy Whitmer.
And isn't she also trying to get on? I
Yeah, she
guess
wants to be on Biden's ticket. She wants to be the VP
the
pick.
VP. Yeah, yeah, the VP. Because they're trying to say go with a female or go with a female of color, so to say,
Right, right, right.
in order to win. I guess I don't know. In order to get votes. Listen, between any party, it's all about the vote. They really don't give a shit about anybody except themselves. And I want to say both parties. I mean, listen, Trump himself may care about the people. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Does the party?
The party, I don't know.
You know what I mean? Do the people of the party care? Like everybody under him, so to say, in the Senate and the House and all that stuff. Do they care about the people? Listen, it's real obviously. Like I'm going to say, I'm going to be neutral about it, but you got to call it as you see it. The Democrats, I feel, don't give a shit about anybody but themselves. And if shit doesn't go their way, it's like, they shun it, shun it, shun it. If it's something amazing for the citizens, they're like, oh, fuck the citizens. Let's give the benefits to the illegals. You know what I mean? Or make the citizens and the middle class work for everything for everybody else. So it's like the middle class is just They're riding them like donkeys, man, and they work for the benefits of everybody else except themselves. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. I mean, the Republicans now under Trump, a little bit different. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, there's people that are like him that do different things, and there's a lot of things I disagree with him about, and there's a lot of things I agree with him about. But you gotta make your own choice. Who is the, you know, best and the worst person, say, to vote in, especially with this upcoming elections, as far as pros and cons? And I'm sorry to say, I don't think it's Biden.
Right.
You know?
Well, let me put it to you this way, because I've been around probably for, I think, several more presidents than you have been around.
Yeah, definitely.
My feeling was always that when you get to national level, okay, with your Senate, your House of Representatives, and the presidential races, aside from the president, who I always viewed as somebody who would kind of play both sides of the fence, whatever suited him, I always believed that there was real no difference between the Democrats and the Republicans. I always believed that they were all the same crooks once they got to that level.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it
Okay?
has to
What
be
I
that.
used to believe is that your local elections and even your state elections made more difference to you.
Well, that's what I said. Yeah, definitely. The like when people complain about, say, Trump or whoever's the president, that really doesn't affect you in your state as much as you think it does. It's like we have Murphy, right? Governor Murphy here in Jersey. That guy and his policies is what makes us or breaks us.
Exactly.
You know, like what Trump does with fucking China or Israel or whoever else. It really doesn't bother us. I mean, I like the fact that we stopped giving money to other fucking countries. You know what I mean? But it's
Right.
it's,
You
it's
also
in your
got to think about he decreased our federal taxes.
yeah.
He introduced regulation to allow manufacturing in different industries to come back alive.
Oh,
Okay?
big time, yeah. And he opened up things that
It
everybody else
wasn't for our
closed.
moron politicians in New Jersey. New Jersey used to be a pretty big manufacturing hub, if you probably recall. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember a little sign on a bridge with Trenton makes, the world takes?
Yeah. Not anymore.
And not anymore.
Yeah. Well, listen, why would you? Because the taxes here are so fucking high.
And whose fault is that? That ain't Trump's fault.
That's not Trump's fault. No, that's the local Democratic government. Like I said, listen, working in a small business and whatnot, the government, at least my government here in my state, I wake up in the morning and they get out of bed with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're partners with you in especially small business.
Their hand is in your pocket.
Yes.
Is what it is.
Have you ever seen that Burger King commercial where you wake up with the breakfast with the king? That's the government, man. As soon as you get out of bed, they're waiting there with the breakfast. They're like, make that money for me.
No, but the whole point I was trying to make about the difference with that is, I'm going to say the shutting down the economy and all of that, I understand it because of the unknown factor of this virus, okay? But the more they learned and the more they know about it, and the numbers all bear it out, these morons, especially the Democratic morons, okay, I'll put it that way, of the morons, the Democratic morons especially, there's no rhyme or reason to the horse shit they're doing. It doesn't make sense. It's counterproductive. The truth of the matter is, if you look at all the stats, okay, they've already shown that locking people up indoors was probably worse than if we'd have let everybody walk around with masks on.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, in the beginning, they did say, that guy Fauci, don't wear a mask. It's the worst thing you could do is wear a mask. Now, obviously, common sense would dictate that they are saying that so that way people don't go out like maniacs and buy up all the masks, which they fucking did anyway. You know what I mean? Because obviously they wanted to keep the masks for the essential workers, which are healthcare workers. Not that I'm saying that they're not, but I'm saying that, then somewhere between March and April something, obviously masks got depleted, and you had a fight to get a mask for, say, a hospital, and then donations and whatnot, and then you have Cuomo hiding shit, and then he brings it out, or he got found or whatnot. But it all comes down to what we know about this virus and what we don't. And like I tell everybody, why I haven't been to work really is because I'm gambling 50-50. If I go in, you know what I mean? Hey, if I get this, I could die. I don't know much about it. Nobody can tell me much about it. So personally, having a family, kids and whatnot. I'd rather stay home, collect my unemployment, spend time with my kids and family, and just stay safe. Now, until they're out and they're like, hey, listen, it's a whole big bullshit. We don't know what the fuck it is, or we know what it is. And then they tell us you can go out. If you get it, it's either worse or less than the flu. But a lot of people are dying with underlying issues. Now, if you don't have an underlying issue, does it affect you as much?
See, what you're talking about right there is making a choice.
Yeah, you make the choice. So they should give the choice to the people is what I'm saying.
Right, and they're not doing it. Mostly the moron Democrat people running are not giving the people the choice. You look at the Republican states, okay, that would have Republican governors that are calling the shots there.
Is Georgia a Republican?
Georgia, yeah, that's Republican.
And I think they have zero, right? They opened up or slow open up, and they have 0 fatalities from the virus.
It was low, but it was weird because people don't always pay attention, or they pay attention to the wrong thing.
Well,
as far as I'm concerned,
Facebook news.
Anybody who's getting their news from CNN, MSNBC, or some of the other mainstream left-leaning media, they ain't getting any news. They're getting spin on everything because they don't actually watch the numbers. They're not giving you real numbers. Just look at the whole bullshit. Did you see the bullshit the mainstream media started over Trump declaring that he's been taking hydroxychloroquine?
Yeah. And then I saw a video. Yeah, then I saw a video with that one gentleman I remember from MTV, Dr. Drew.
Yeah, Dr. Drew.
And Dr. Drew, was saying that Trump is right.
Yeah.
That he can take it. It's safe. They give it to millions of people around the globe.
He didn't just pull it out of a medicine cabinet. He had to have a doctor prescribe it, the White House doctor.
Yeah. Well, listen, the man is the president, so they're going to subscribe him something that you may or may not have a chance of a survival rate if you catch it. You know what I mean?
My point is this. The White House doctor would tell the president of the United States, if it's of no value in taking it whatsoever and it could be harmful, don't do it.
Pretty much.
And he didn't do that. He said, okay, let's do it.
But I like the way he did the video, and he was like, yeah, I take it.
But do you understand? Here's what I'm saying about CNN and all that shit, because this is important for people to know. Their campaign against hydroxychloroquine, just because Trump said it early on, because guess what? There were studies in France, okay?
Oh, yeah, I've seen that before.
Okay, where the whole thing is that I call it the hydroxy cocktail, where you use zithromycin and zinc and the hydroxychloroquine. Okay? Yeah. If you do it early on, people recover quickly. If you wait till they're already on a ventilator and they got 1 foot in the grave and 1 foot on a banana peel, well, guess what? That ain't the time for that.
Well, I even told my wife, speaking about a ventilator, I was reading somewhere that when you're on the ventilator, your body's more prone to shut down quicker because it's not requiring itself to breathe, that the ventilator's breathing for you. And that's what they're saying, why people are passing on because of that. So I told my wife, listen, some shit happens to me. Like if they got to take off a leg to save me, like they did to that one poor guy from Broadway, fuck it, take off a leg. Just don't put me on no goddamn ventilator. And if I come out legless or handless or footless, at least I'm alive.
The other problem with this is look at how many people, okay, they're saying it, like there's even the local hospitals to us, or even advertising to get regular patients to come back. All the people with stuff that I guess if they weren't dropping dead at this moment, they're putting off everything because they didn't want to go in the hospital.
Yeah.
They don't want to add coronavirus to what they already got.
Oh, yeah. And I know a lot of people were saying that like they were. I mean, there's funny things going around, like the guy jumps out.
Already been, huge increase in drug addiction relapse, alcoholism and relapse, suicide, all these peripheral things going on. People dying from heart attacks for letting the early warning signs go because they didn't want to go to the doctor. People are not taking that into consideration. All those people that are dying or are about to die.
Well, did you ever get a call yet from one of your doctors?
What do you mean?
I forgot.
See how I am?
My wife, a couple, maybe like 2-3 weeks ago, she went to. Here's what happened. Something happened. I guess my daughter scratched her cornea, and her eye really got bad. So she actually had to go in to see a doctor. And I remember
Right.
while they were there, I didn't go. She was talking to the doctor. And she was telling me the doctor was like, yeah, we're actually calling people to see if they want to come in because people are afraid they don't want to go to the doctors. Now here, this upcoming week, Wednesday, I believe, I'm going to be traveling to New York to a psoriatic arthritis specialist. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, in the beginning, I guess they were asking, do you want to do like a video or a telecom, I guess they call it. And I told my wife, I said, listen, what am I going to really show them on a telecom, right? Like my hands, I got to show them all that, what pain I'm in. So they were like, all right, come in. They didn't even give me no guff, no grief. And this is a specialist that normal times prior to pandemic, you would have be on a waiting list,
Yeah, for
maybe
3 weeks to get in.
3, 4, 6, 7, 8, maybe a year to get in. Exactly. And by the time that happens, man, I'll be fucking crippled. So to get in a week later is like amazing. And that must mean because nobody's fucking going to the doctors. So they saw me coming and they were like, bring him in. And I would rather go in person to show him because, even if I have to wear a mask or whatever, as long as the doctor sees me, I can explain it to him in person and talk to him, and then they understand what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to talk about, because you can't really do that over a teleconference unless they know who I am and they've already seen me. Okay, then they can kind of gather. Okay, that's Venture. I know what he's talking about. Boom, boom. But if he has never seen me before, it's hard for me to explain to him and show him. Like, look on the camera if we're doing a thing, right? Like you see my one finger, all right?
Right.
See, it's like not really deformed. Now, I think that happened, even though it was pain arthritis. I went bowling one time. I felt it pop. I never have pain in this finger again, but it's a little bit deformed. But they say that deformity is because of the arthritis or almost like rheumatoid arthritis. But I have psoriatic arthritis. But, that hinders me in life. But you're right. Nobody's going to the doctors. And the doctor even said it. Like, they're actually calling people to be like, do you want to come in and see us? Do you want to do this and see us? And we actually know a dentist, and the dentist said the same thing. The dentist is like, your I guess yearly cleaning's coming up. Do you want to come? Say Friday? And people are like, no, we'll wait till all this is over.
Yeah, my dentist hasn't called yet.
He hasn't called
and
yet.
I'm not calling them either.
Maybe you're not due yet, but you know what I mean. That's what people are doing.
No, I'm like, dude.
Well, listen, being an auto mechanic, we were considered essential, so they allowed us to stay open. Unfortunately, I didn't go. I didn't go to work, and I haven't been there since, I think, March 27th. So I am collecting the stimulus and the unemployment. But don't get me wrong. I would love to go back to work. It's just that now I'm in a hard spot because you're getting paid more than actually being at work, and that's just not me. A lot of people are, so that's going to hinder a lot of people going back to work. Even though I think the unemployment or the stimulus has a cutoff, and then on the other hand, I get to see my family every day. I wake up with my kids, I put them to bed, I hang out with them all day, and I even joke around with my son, and I'm like, Daddy's got to go to work soon, and he gets that puppy dog look like.
Right. Like, what do you mean?
Like, oh, I don't want you to go to work. He starts hugging me. He doesn't let me go. And I'm like, all right, man, take it easy. Eventually I got to go to work. You want me to buy you those toys you want? I got to go to work, kid. So, it's, they've created a bigger hassle and ordeal for a lot of people. And what I'm speaking of is just minuscule. That's like for me and my ordeal. But there's a lot of bigger ordeals that they've created for other people, especially people that own businesses.
Right.
Let's just say right before, I think I know there's a UFC gym near where I live. Okay, and I think the gentleman's name is Gary Tonin. I guess a lot of people know him from UFC. All right, real famous guy, and he opened up a gym. And I think it was maybe a few months prior to this pandemic, and I have one of my customers goes there. And it's funny because my customer posted on my Facebook, I see that the poor guy is now closing the gym because the landlord, I guess, couldn't pay. Obviously, he's not paying the landlord, and the landlord couldn't pay something, so they shut it down. So they got to kick him out now. He's got to find a new location if he ever finds it. Who the hell knows with whoever's going to open up. So now this poor guy lost his business that was actually pretty booming because of the shutdowns.
Yeah, but see, this is kind of what I was getting at before, okay? Like I said, I believed based on I always call it so-called medical expert advice and I'll explain why in a minute, that the president was getting, it was right to shut things down, get a handle on this, and try not to let it get worse than it had to be. Okay?
Okay.
But he has already, clearly, it's got to be like going on a month now where he's been telling the states, you got to start phasing back into the groove. Okay?
Yeah. Well, and originally he did say he'll leave it up to the states, and then he kind of backtracked and is like, we got to open up now.
Right, because he can see they're not listening. See, here's the other problem I got. These Democratic-run states, okay, there's two things that I got a major problem with. Okay?
Want some water, by the way?
Huh?
Want some water, by the way?
I'm good. I got my coffee right here.
All right.
But the one is that I think they're fluffing their numbers in some instances, okay, to try to lump everything in to get reimbursed for COVID deaths.
Okay. Now, is this the state or the hospitals?
No, I think it's the state and the hospitals because it's like a whole reporting thing. It's like a chain. Like the hospitals have to report to like the local health thing, that has to report to the state health thing, that has to report to the federal health thing. Okay, it goes up a whole chain.
Okay.
But I'm pretty, because some of them already got caught at it. Okay.
Yeah.
Where here's the sake of an argument. You can't tell me in a three-month period nobody in the U.S. died from anything but coronavirus.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. It's like
you get what I'm saying?
It's like the meme where the people have the guy jumping out the plane with no parachute.
Right.
Died of COVID.
died of COVID. Okay. So that's one problem I have with that, because I personally think, okay, the American people deserve, okay, at every level to be told the truth, whatever the truth is, number one. Yeah. Number two, these moronic governors, when they already see the evidence before them, they see the states that have, like didn't you mention Georgia before?
Georgia, I think Georgia had a
even Trump was a little worried about Georgia in the beginning, because the federal guidelines were saying they'd like you to see 14 days of certain numbers going down, okay? And Georgia was like on the 13th day, and the Georgia governor, who Trump said it's up to the governor, the Georgia governor said that's close enough. He said, as far as I'm concerned, for my state, 13 days towards a 14-day run is close enough. I'm doing it. Trump got a little nervous.
Yeah.
Okay? But it worked out okay. But you see what I'm saying? The difference is you go to Michigan, okay? She wants to just let out all the prisoners and imprison all the regular people that are trying to do silly stuff.
Well, that's another topic altogether. You might have to turn down your volume a little bit, because I can hear myself on your computer.
What's going on?
Oh, I can hear myself on your computer.
Oh, do you want me to lower the volume?
Oh, yeah, a little bit. That's a whole nother topic on its own, where you're letting out criminals. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, if this guy if he raped somebody last year and now you're letting him out because you don't want him to die from COVID, fuck him. Like, sorry to his family, but bro, you shouldn't have raped anybody. You know what I mean?
Did you see the footage of the prisoners that were purposely passing around COVID in the jail
to get out,
to test positive so they could get out?
Yeah. How fucked up is that? Listen, how are you going? All right. Let me put it this way, right? Let's say you and I, we own a bar.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We open up the bar for, say, like 10 people. It's a little party, right? 10 people, just maybe me, you, and some friends. And the cops roll in and they fucking arrest us. So as we're going to jail, the criminals are walking out. Now, is that not fucked up or what?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know, how are you going to let out somebody that robbed somebody, mugged somebody, you know, lied, cheated, raped somebody, raped a child, molested somebody? You know what I mean? How are you going to let those fucking people out and then take in innocent business owners or employees?
Here's why. I'll tell you exactly why. It's because it's what they wanted to do all along. This is the perfect time for them to use it as an excuse to go along with what they already wanted to do.
Wait. Let me add to that. Do you know why? Because the prisoners will vote for them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Isn't that what they wanted? I think Bernie Sanders was talking about that at one point. He's like, we should allow all the prisoners to vote.
Right. I can't. I mean, I've been watching a lot of the footage of, even that place in South Jersey, that Belmore Jim
Yeah,
Ellis.
Belmar or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's a Belmar with the W.
Yeah, yeah, with a W. I was even telling my wife, Belmar? She's like, yeah,
Yeah.
Belmar. I was like,
It's not like the up
right
here
over here
Belmar.
by the beach? And she's
Down
like,
here,
no, with a W. And I'm like, where the fuck is that place? I didn't even know that place existed.
Nobody does, except now that they've been on national television.
But now that guy got arrested and whatnot, all this crazy shit's coming out about him. Like he actually got convicted of killing somebody.
Not the owner of the gym.
Who was it then?
The guy who got arrested was a patron.
Oh, okay, okay. So the
guy who got arrested at his gym was a patron,
okay,
a member, okay, who I guess he just started shit with whoever was there to do whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, that's the media for you, though. What does that matter? What does it matter? If the guy was in the gym, okay, he's apparently legal out in the world.
Because they want news. They want something.
If he got a history of anything.
Something for
he's
ratings.
Going to the gym. He
So
didn't
now,
go there to commit a robbery.
So now this poor guy, because of the pandemic, because of going to the gym, everybody and their mothers knows his backstory and history. He can probably be Googled now. They probably know where he lives. Who the hell knows, man? All this crazy shit. And it is the media. It is the media. Did you you know who I watch sometimes, man, and I cycle through? You ever see that kid Anomaly?
Yeah, I see.
I think he was a rapper that turned whatever, and he has the long hair. And I watch a lot of his videos. Right, this is a plug.
Stuff on Facebook.
This is a plug for you, Anomaly, if you're watching this. But I watched this video on Fauci, where they were talking about him giving, I forgot how much money it was. Let's just say, for shits and giggles, $1 million, $2 million, $3 million to Wuhan
For the lab.
For the lab to I don't know if it was make or splice different viruses together.
It was to help them set up something they were doing there.
Okay, so
now he didn't give him money out of his pocket.
Oh no, it was money that you pay taxes for.
Dollars out of the organization money he was representing. Now I got another theory about Fauci, okay? Because I don't know if you know this, but at any given time, for the mainstream media, Fauci's either the hero or he's evil, okay? Because they'll say, I don't know if you see, there's pictures all over the place of him tied to Bill Gates. Okay?
Well, yeah, because listen, Bill Gates, that's a whole nother topic, but on one hand, Bill Gates is 50-50 for me, man. 50-50 because on one hand, he looks like that clean guy that gives money to help and everything.
And you can't trust.
Yeah, and on that other hand, he's like that guy, man. It's like, fuck you up in the back type thing. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, I compare him to Thanos.
Yeah.
Okay? Because he believes the way to save the rest of the world is to kill half the world.
Pretty much.
That's
exactly what he said.
Thanos was doing, only he was doing it to the universe.
Yeah, I know. That's listen, where do you think all these comic artists get their ideas from?
Exactly. But no, I got this theory about Fauci, and I've been thinking about this a lot. I wanted to run this by you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been dying to talk to you, okay? There's good and bad depending on who you listen to and what they're putting out. Like, for example, supposedly Fauci stood to make a lot of money if they developed anything using that remdesivir. Did you hear about that?
Is that because he has rights
he has
to the
ties
patent?
into the patents
Okay.
behind that or something like that.
So is that why they were trying to push it so hard?
Well, think about this. Fauci was very against the hydroxychloroquine right off the beginning and very hot on remdesivir. Then all of a sudden, shit started coming out about his ties to remdesivir, and all of a sudden he changed his mind. Nah, it's not as good as we thought. You know what I mean?
Saving his own ass.
Yeah, I think so. But I have a theory about this guy. I don't know if you remember, but when the mainstream media is praising the guy to no end, they tout how he's been there through 6 presidents.
Well, wait a minute. It's different if you're watching Fox News, and it's different if you're watching CNN, MSNBC, and stuff.
True.
Like the CNN, MSNBC are praising him. Fox is saying, I want to say, 60-40, good and
Oh,
bad.
Tucker Carlson hits him hard.
Oh, yeah. Listen, Tucker Carlson, he hits everybody hard. But a lot of stuff that Tucker even says, sometimes I'm a little negative about and I'm a little positive about. You know, sometimes Tucker's good. He hits people
Even he
right.
says it sometimes. Even he says he goes overboard sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes he does go a little overboard. You know, recently, too, he's been going a little overboard. But, you know, you got to ask those questions to bring it out of people.
But here's my theory on Fauci, and I want you to tell me,
Let's
as
hear it.
I'm
Let's hear
saying it, if it's believable to you.
Okay.
Okay. Now think about this. Before Trump, this guy has worked under 5 different presidents, right?
Yes.
Okay. Till this president, nobody recognized this guy's name.
I
This
didn't know.
guy's basically right now, he's on all the media all the time. Everybody, all you got to do is say to anybody is, hey, what do you think of Fauci? They know who you're talking about. Right or
Yeah,
wrong?
but nobody knows who the fuck he is.
Right. But my point is this. I think that this guy, because I watch him and I watch people when they're talking and stuff, okay? I don't get the impression that this guy is lying about the shit he says. I think this guy is a true believer in what he says, okay? When he advised anybody, and this is the point I want to make, I don't know what his direct position in that NIH is, that the infectious disease thing, whatever, but he seems to have edged himself to the top of the food chain in this group right now.
Yeah.
Think about this. He's been in basically working for the government for what, like 40 years?
Yes.
Okay. So there's probably a time where the shit he said, his bosses probably said, yeah, nice idea, keep your mouth shut. Okay?
Probably.
But this guy, I have the sense, and it's a sense I have listening to him, that this guy has been preaching to whoever would listen or wouldn't listen for 40 years that if you have a pandemic pop up, this is the way you can deal with it. Okay? And the difference is all the presidents before Trump, when something started to brew up, either what he was saying didn't get to them, or they said, thank you for the information, go back to your office. And said, fuck it, we're rolling the dice. We're not shutting the economy down.
Yeah.
The difference here is I think he finally got a president.
That's allowing him to speak.
That's not only allowing him to speak, that let me tell you something.
Because, you know,
This is the first,
well, before he says something, because, you know, Trump sometimes says some shit and then Fauci totally contradicts it.
right. And then Trump will come right back and say, I don't agree with him.
But that's a good thing. That's good and
But
bad.
think about it, don't forget this. Initially, when Trump shut down travel from China, Fauci was one of the people who told him don't do it.
Yeah.
Why? Because he was listening to his good friend from the WHO, who's in the pocket of China.
Oh, yeah, big time.
But here's the point I want to make with Fauci. I think the main difference, I believe that this guy, in his mind, he has believed for 40 years that what the president did is what you should do when you have a pandemic. The only difference is the first time he had a president that actually said, fuck it, as devastating as this would be to the economy, if I can save American lives, I'll do it.
Well, he did say it. He did, because in the beginning, they told him upwards from 2 million and beyond would die, right? Now, numbers may totally be off now, but back then, Trump had to make a choice. Let people die, which most likely are going to be potential voters for him. You know, so I mean, listen, you can, it's all a big fuckery, okay? You can all say what you want.
The one thing with that, I will not just let that slide, because I don't believe Trump is the first politician I ever seen in my life that he don't really give a fuck if those people that live would vote for him or not. He wants them to live.
Well, that's another thing I was getting at, right? Where he actually said it. He goes, I would rather people live and not die and then bring back up the economy. Something along that way. Because listen, the economy is always going to come back. All right. We're not in a recession.
No.
You know, obviously you're just closing things that can't be made. Now, stateside, right? Because federally you can't really do this, but stateside, like if I was the governor, say, of New Jersey, I would be like this. Stop mortgages. stop utilities and all that stuff, like, payments, and you can backtrack if you want, but you got to allow the person to get back on their feet before they pay it back.
Yeah, you gotta
Or
do it reasonable.
yeah, or you like, say, water, right? Well, everybody needs water, everybody needs electricity. You gift it to them. Like, well, what do you pay water every 6 months, right?
No, usually
Quarterly?
every three months. It's
Every 3 months. Every three. I don't know. I don't know if it's like that across the America, but I
Well,
guess.
it's different where you're at, ain't it?
Well, yeah, I think it's quarterly.
At Milltown or North Brunswick?
North. But
Okay. So we're quarterly.
I think it's quarterly. Okay. But they could gift that. They could say, hey, listen, 3 months, don't worry about it. We'll give it to you. You don't got to pay how much is it usually? Between $60 and $300, depending if you fill your pool or if your kids are fucking bathing in goddamn full baths every night.
Toys outside and everything.
Yeah, right. Whether you have a sprinkler
slides.
system, exactly. You know what I mean. But there's certain things that they should either, if you can't gift it, that's fine. But like, say, a business owner that, say, just opened up, or a restaurant owner, and I do have a lot of friends that own restaurants, but if they can't open up and they owe rent or they owe something, you should allow them to reopen for a certain amount of time to make their money and profit and be able to pay that back. And you can hold that against the owner, because obviously if they open up, say, 6 months to a year, they should be able to make enough money to profit from it and to pay back what they backtrack so to say. Okay?
Well, here's something funny that I'm going to say, by and large, okay, the American people, like, if you look, like, I've seen things where, say, certain landlords, when this shit all went down and everything shut down, they told their tenants, you don't worry, you don't have to pay me now.
Yeah, those are called normal.
We'll work it all out later, but you got a place to live, okay? Guess what? After this is all said and done, that's going to be one of the few landlords for doing that his tenants are going to do whatever it takes to eventually pay that guy back what they owe him.
Yeah, pretty
Where
much.
you got these other people that are just saying, fuck the landlord. I'm not paying him. I'm not paying this. I'm not paying that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, it goes both ways. You have the slumlord landlords that are real assholes, and then you have the tenants that are real assholes. You know what I mean? That's personally why I never want to be a landlord, because 3:00 in the morning, somebody's screwing on the kitchen sink and they break it off the wall. They expect me to pay for it. But like, who's fucking on the kitchen sink? God damn it! You know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, I had tenants once. They stole my tax return check.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it wasn't worth it.
All right, listen. I have a friend, and before the lady left, she poured the quick cement down the toilet bowl.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God, man! It was a 3-level place, and it totally fucked everything up, man. Poor guy had to rip everything out, spend a lot of money to fix it, and couldn't find these people. They dipped off, left, and nobody even knew who they were after that. But
anyway, here's what I want to get back to Fauci, okay? Because Fauci is like, he's pretty prominent in the news. No matter which side of the Fauci thing you're on, everybody is talking about Fauci. Because why? Did you see?
Well, you have to talk about him. He's the head, like, scientist of this. You know what I mean? Like, he's the head doctor. What he says goes, and then from him it goes down below.
Yes and no. Yes and no. He's not really, like, he can't tell the CDC what to do.
Well, no, the CDC's on a whole different level than he is.
You're spreading out laterally, okay? That's not like an up and down chain. That's an across chain.
Well, like the World Health. Does he go by the World Health Organization?
Well, this is what's scary about Fauci. One of the things that's scary. He's real buddy with that guy who runs the WHO.
Now, which guy? Which guy?
His guy's name is Tedros or something like that. He's not even a real doctor. He's not a medical doctor.
Okay. So what is he?
Okay.
So how is he the head of anything? That's like that lady, the white lady who pretended she was black and she became the head of the black nation.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean?
He was in I don't want to say the wrong one, but he was in an African country, and he was that nation's like highest health officer. Okay.
And they appointed him.
Yeah, China backed him to get him put in charge of this WHO.
Well, then China must have
Yeah.
Pictures of him screwing a dude or something. You
The
know what I mean?
problem is this guy that came from this head of the, nation in Africa, wherever it was covering up pandemic stuff there. He was actually covering up like epidemic stuff there,
Okay.
telling people nothing's going on, all this kind of shit. The guy's no good. Okay, but I think the president is right in this case.
To get out of the WHO.
Why? Why should we be spending like $500 million to support this WHO? China's spending like between 30 and 50 million, okay, like a tenth of what we do. But these sons of bitches screwed over the US and every other country to not make China look bad. Because that's what they did. They lied.
But here's the thing. Why should we be paying them money when it's really rare, if ever, besides the, 1918 plague, that we ever had any type of pandemics, unlike countries in Africa, China, so to say. What do they have? They had the swine flu. They had the SARS. Obviously, now we have the Wuhan or the COVID-19 corona. You know what I mean? Why aren't they fucking paying all the money? They're the ones that have the goddamn diseases.
You know why? Because Americans, here's what I want to say about your average American. Sometimes they have
Hearts.
big hearts and slow brains. Okay? Because what they do is this. They'll just say, you'll hear a blurb, okay? Yeah, the United States is continuing their support for the World Health Organization. And then they'll say, who does this, there, everywhere, blah, 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 blah. And the American people go, that sounds good. I'm for that. I'm for that. No one ever calls them and says, excuse me, I'd like to speak to the head of WHO. Exactly where is my dollars going? What are you doing with it? Nobody does that.
Who knows? They probably all live in mansions. They all drive in Ferrari.
Are good people at heart.
I know.
Across the board.
I know.
Even the ones that are like morons with some of their beliefs on things.
Listen,
okay?
the other day, my wife, I think, went to McDonald's and the person in front of her paid for her food. So my wife told me, listen, if we go to like say Dunkin' Donuts or something, because I like to get my morning frozen coffee. She's like, let's pay for somebody, pay it forward. And I said, I got no problem with that, unless they honk the horn at me, then I'll pay for their shit and take the fucking food.
No, I mean Americans are good people at heart for the most part.
They are, man. They are. Don't get me wrong. Listen, in life, very rare have I ever had a problem with anyone. Okay? Not to mention, I don't look for problems. Okay? I do not look for problems. I don't go out there looking for any type of arguments with people. And a lot of times, even if people do, I'll walk away. Even at work, somebody has a problem. It's like, look, man, relax. Whatever your problem is, I warranty everything. I'll take care of it. The only thing that may inconvenience you is a little bit of time. But other than that, no money's coming out of your pocket. All right? Now, on the other hand, if it's nothing that I did and you fucked it up, then yeah, you're going to be paying me. But otherwise, if it's something that I did, I fully covered under warranty. I got no problem with that, because I would rather have this customer for the life of my business instead of fucking him over or her now and then never seeing them again. Which a lot of people do. Don't get me wrong. Somebody comes in for a brake job, you can charge them $2,000 on a fucking Geo Prism, never see them again. You know what I mean? You charge them $300, and then the guy's like, "Oh, that was pretty cheap. This is my new mechanic." You see them for the life, as long as you take care of them. So that's how the world works, man. That's how the world works. Listen, everybody wants a discount. Everybody wants to pay as cheap as they can be, but everybody has to also understand that you're not just paying, say, me. You're paying my employees, the overhead, whatever else, the part. You know what I mean? There's a lot of expenses that come into everybody's business, no matter what it is, and a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, what I'm saying is about what our federal tax dollars anyway go towards. I'm seeing more people in the last like 3+ years
waking up to
what exactly has been going on with all our businesses, jobs being shipped overseas, all our money, our cash going right to these other countries where you got to say sometimes, wait a minute. Okay, they know it's a corrupt country. Who's watching them to make sure they're not spending the money on stuff they shouldn't be? You know what I mean? Like, it's been an old story, man. Like, if the money's coming out of your pocket, you pay attention to what it's going to. These politicians, it ain't coming out of their pocket.
I know they don't care.
They don't give a rat's ass where it goes to.
Well, here's the funny thing, really quick, how like Bernie Sanders complaining about the 1%. Motherfucker, you are the 1%.
Exactly.
You know what? You haven't worked a day in your fucking life, and you're the 1%. You know what I mean? So, like, who are you complaining about? Yourself? Are you gonna, cut your taxes or pay the 90%, whatever you want to fucking do? Are you gonna be paying that? Or is my friend that's a millionaire going to be paying that? Or somebody else that's a millionaire going to be paying that? Because obviously you're going to have some loophole that you, like that girl, Ocasio-Cortez, right? What does she make when she went into the thing? I vaguely remember this story where she went in and let's just example, right? $200,000 a year she makes. Let's so to say, right? As an example, everybody.
What's she supposed to get? What's she supposed to get?
I don't know exactly what she's supposed to get, but let's just say
It's supposed to be, I think, like around 174.
Okay, let's say 175, right? She gets 175 a year, okay, for not doing a fucking thing. So anyway, so you sit at a table and you make 175 for making normal people's lives miserable. I think she had the nerve to want to give herself a raise.
Oh yeah, she did.
Okay, bitch, you were just there, what? A couple months? You already want a fucking raise? What did you do for anybody to will yourself a raise? You know what I mean? And
you know she's delinquent in taxes,
Yeah, there's a lot of shit. There's a lot of shit. Even that other lady, the oh man, what's her name? The refugee lady. I forgot her name. That wears the
Omar?
Yeah, Omar.
Ilhan Omar.
Yeah, that lady. She's talking all this nonsense, and all of a sudden
who married her brother.
That's what I'm saying. Like how the fuck do these people get voted in? How do they not tell people when it's time to vote and just nobody goes? And listen, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I'm a neutral person, right? But I want the person to go in that's actually for someone like me, for someone like my friends, so for someone that works and busts their ass to pay all this money that we're paying to make better for ourselves, not somebody else. Like you're saying, I'm happy that Trump got us out of a lot of things, okay? Especially that pollution deal where we were paying more money. Number one, listen, I'm not saying America's the cleanest country in the world, okay? But we're top 5.
Yeah.
Top 5. No fucking reason Greta Thunberg should be coming here and talking all that shit. She should be going to fucking China and to India, the number one polluters of the world, and spewing that garbage over there. But you know why she doesn't go there? Because they'll fucking kill her.
Yeah, or just do what they should do. Like a petulant child, send her home.
Exactly. Okay, and then I think they put her on. Well, I don't know if it happened. I haven't seen it. You let me know in the comments. But they put her on some type of panel for COVID-19. CNN did.
Yeah. And guess what? They didn't want to listen to Rand Paul, who's a medical doctor.
Yeah.
Because he was giving Fauci shit when they had that Senate hearing where they were like on the video. Testimony.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I didn't see it. I heard about it, but I didn't see it.
That's where Rand Paul says, do you really think you are the final say in anything? Like, you're not the end all and be all.
Yeah.
He told Fauci. Like, basically he's telling him, you've been wrong about a lot of shit.
Listen, don't get me wrong. It's just like me. If I see a coworker taking down an engine, and I explain to him, hey, listen, there's an easier way to do it, like this, and he still doesn't do it that way, I may be 100% right, or I may even be 100% wrong. You know what I mean? That's exactly how doctors are. I mean, obviously experience and whatnot, but I definitely know exactly what you're saying, because it's one doctor arguing with another doctor about what should or shouldn't happen.
Right.
And my whole thing is, it shouldn't be left up to one guy. Obviously, he should have his own panel, which I don't know if he does or he doesn't, to go through with it and to go different things. But before I forget, when you started talking about Fauci and all these people, are they giving the president the right information? Because in the beginning, I kind of felt like they were just running him around the bush.
No, I don't think. Here's the point I was trying to make about them, and even Dr. Burks. What's her first name? The lady that's always there.
The lady
It's
with the
always
scarf. She wears the scarves.
the scarf lady. That's what
Yeah,
I call her.
scarf lady. There you go.
My wife is amazed that every time she's on camera, she has a new scarf. It's a different scarf. She
Yeah.
never wears the same scarf twice.
No,
Did you ever notice that?
that's our tax money going to work.
Oh, hey. But anyway, I believe these people are sincere. I think they gave the president the best advice they thought they could based on the limited information they had. I think this would have been a whole different story over here, even if China didn't lie. If China came clean and helped contain it to China, I'm telling you, based on the way the U.S. government operates, if China had contained us and contained it and told us the truth that there was a problem, how fast do you think the U.S. would have sent their experts over there to help them out?
Well, that you said that. Check this out. Do you remember Wuhan was the only province that had the COVID-19 corona at the time, right? No other surrounding city, town had it. So
No.
basically, China contained it in Wuhan.
Yeah, it got out a little bit outside, but not much.
But if you do a little research, China internally did not allow traveling between cities and towns
No.
or traveling airwise, airplanes and whatnot.
Right.
But they
But they're
did
still
allow,
flying.
they allowed international flights out. So and then during that time, like in the beginning, like I said, we were arguing. Obviously New York got it pretty big because New York City that doesn't sleep 24/7. There's always Chinese tourists in New York, whether they're at Madison Square Garden, Rockefeller Center, the Statue of Liberty, the Ellis Island. They want to see the Empire State Building. They want to see where the Twin Towers were. They want to see the new Freedom Tower. They just want to walk around Central Park. There's always something to do in New York. Okay? And I know I was arguing with, say, you and other people about Florida because unless you go to Disney World or Daytona when it's available, at the time that this virus came to and peaked, who was really traveling to Florida? But basically just Americans.
Hold it, buddy. Hold it, because I was thinking about that the last time we talked about it.
Okay.
Did you forget about the tens of thousands of people that were coming off ships that were infected, that Florida's the one that took them in?
Well, they didn't take him in right away. Remember, they held him out there for, I think, a month.
Did you forget about them in the count?
Yeah, well, obviously.
You forgot about them.
But they didn't let him come into Florida. They brought him straight on a bus to the airport and got him the fuck out of there.
They were holding their ass. My point was this with Florida, okay? New York don't have more old people that are vulnerable than Florida does.
Yeah.
Florida has the biggest, well, I'll call it the vulnerable population.
Yeah.
And they did better at it than New York, because New York screwed their vulnerable population.
They definitely did. Especially when Trump sent the boat there and opened up Jacob Javits Center.
He didn't do shit with it.
And Cuomo didn't do shit with it. But here's another thing that I was thinking about Florida. We were talking about it just now. Didn't they also say that the sun and heat kills the virus? So maybe the weather in Florida was just better than New York, because in New York at the time it was cold and viruses and whatnot flourish in the cold.
I don't think I'm not sure, so don't hold me to this. I don't think the temperature itself is as critical as the actual sunlight.
So you think sunlight is better?
The test I did, and I actually think it was like the Department of Defense did the testing, where they actually tested
UV light.
Yeah, but they tested all kinds of conditions. They did tests that I'm thinking to myself, why would the Department of Defense be doing this? Okay? Which kind of tells you what kind of shit they must have up their sleeve, too. Mm-hmm. If they're able to do all this kind of testing. Because, first of all, they had to have active virus to test, right?
Pretty much. You have to.
You have to.
Yeah.
Okay, but they did a lot of testing on surfaces, in the air. They were able to suspend it in the air and tell how long it's alive in the air.
What
They
was
were
it?
able to tell how far it
What
goes.
was it in the air? 30 minutes to 3 hours or something?
No, not even.
No.
Not even. No, no. It doesn't. It doesn't really float in the air like that.
That's what
It
that button on your
literally.
car is. You know, the button on your car for your air conditioning and heat. The recirculator where it recirculates the interior air so you don't get
Oh
that
yeah, yeah,
outside. Make sure you have the filters on.
yeah.
But yeah, maybe that's why Florida didn't get hit so hard. Maybe the sun played a role.
Yeah, but dude, we're not just talking Florida and New York, okay? If I remember the list, okay,
But Texas is
we
hot.
were
Arizona,
talking. We were talking
Nevada.
a total of, I'm going to say, between the Democrat controlled and Republican controlled, total population across all of those states as they're controlled, the difference between like 28 million and 29 million.
How?
That we were talking about with the listings.
Yeah. Now this is only
Okay.
between Florida
And
and
what
New
I'm
York.
saying is this is what's important. Between the listing of Republican controlled and Democratic controlled, there was only about 1.5 million more people in total population for the Democrats, but they had 7 times higher the death rate. Those numbers don't jive.
Yeah, no, I understand that. But places like California, New
Mhm.
York, New Jersey, Democratic run, people there live closer together, more on top of each other. Like New Jersey, we have 9
Actually,
million.
California did pretty good.
They did it pretty
Overall,
good.
California did pretty good.
Now, could it be that California did good with social distancing, or could it be the sun
Mhm.
kills the virus, right? Now, New Jersey, Four Seasons, at the time it hit, it was still pretty cold. New York, too. New York, New Jersey, it's like the same weather. So it doesn't really matter.
Here's a question I have for you because I have not seen any data on this at all, and I'm wondering why the number has not been published.
Okay.
What's the death rate among the homeless?
That I don't know. Either they're not talking about it or
You
the
don't hear anybody
homeless
talking about it.
just know how to social distance.
But dude, social distance. Most of them are they're sharing the same cardboard box somewhere.
Yeah, well, now that the
When it's
weather's
cold
getting
out,
nicer, they're not. But
when it's cold out,
they do have
what I'm saying
shelters.
is you haven't heard. I know I haven't heard any reports of spike in death of homeless.
I haven't heard anything either. Now, it could be one of two reasons. Either because, let's say, a homeless person goes to a shelter and there's obviously people that work at shelters. It could be that the people that work at the shelters have not come in contact with the virus. Although, though in New York, I wouldn't get on a subway, I wouldn't get on a train.
Dude, these people are shitty and they can't wash their hands. Okay.
This is why
So,
it's
my
so
point
crazy.
is, there's stuff here that's being held back.
There is. That's why I'm up in the air. I'm up in the air about it. And this is why I talked earlier and I said I have a 50-50 gamble with my life, whether
Mm-hmm.
this is all serious and death defying, or if it's just like close to being a hoax.
Nah, I wouldn't go that far. What I would say is this, and I kind of said it. I said it the last time we talked about it, and I still maintain the same thing, okay? Serious, yes. Do we have to be as fanatical as we're being about it? For the most of the population, no. And that the numbers bear that out. Okay? If you take the total population, the total number affected that they know about, and don't forget now, we have 4 times more testing going on than the next highest country does. We're banging the tests out, okay?
Yeah.
So we're knowing what the infection rate is. What I would say is this: highly contagious, not extremely lethal. Now, let me qualify that.
To healthy people.
People, exactly. People will say, "Oh, what a heartless bastard you are." Okay.
Well, wait, before you begin,
Matter.
before you say that, I do know an elderly couple in their 60s, and the husband actually works for ShopRite, and to ShopRite in their warehouses, everybody got it in ShopRite warehouses. Okay, they're not talking about that big time, but I'll say it now. A lot of people did get it in the warehouses of ShopRite. Okay, that's why a lot of deliveries and food shortages. It's not so much that they're closing down the meat industry, it's because the warehouses were getting it and they were shutting them shits down. Now,
Right.
the husband gave it to the wife. They both had it. They both tested positive for it, and they both went and got all the tests and whatnot. But the husband didn't have it as severely as the wife. Now, both of them have no underlying issues, even though they're older and in their 60s. But the husband did prior get a flu shot. The wife didn't. So
Okay.
the
She
wife,
had worse than him.
yeah, the wife herself
But they
says
recovered? But they recovered.
they both recovered, but his was almost asymptomatic. I think maybe he had like a little fever and a cough, and then that was it. He was still fine to walk around. He didn't go to work though. But the wife was on her. She was like, "Dude, I don't wish this upon anybody. I was on my deathbed, so to say. Never went to the hospital. Never had to do anything. You know, the doctors did tell her, listen, if you're feeling okay, just a lot of normal, almost like you got the flu. That's what she said. But she said it was like the flu times 5.
Just a side note that you brought that up. I don't know if you remember the Democratic Congresswoman who was the same thing as that lady. She was on the verge of having to go to the hospital, and because of what Trump said, she got her doctor to prescribe the hydroxychloroquine.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Just like that.
That's the Democratic lady. I think the black lady, right?
Yeah,
The African American lady. Yeah. Okay, her.
And the Democrats were crucifying her because she said she heard it from the president.
Oh yeah, I definitely remember that.
It saved her life, but they're crucifying her.
Yeah.
Okay, that shows you where their loyalties are.
That's what I'm trying to say. That party is not loyal to anybody. They will chew you up and spit you out if you don't abide by their way or rules. Listen, and this is another thing I was talking about too. Like maybe you brought up Bill Gates. And let's just say the world ends, right? All of these rich people have their safe getaways. Now, they all might be in cahoots together, but you're not going to know this unless you're part of that rich club. You know what I mean? Like what? If there's a vaccine, you don't think Bill Gates has it or is going to get it prior to you and me?
Oh, absolutely.
There you go. I mean, the man pays for half that shit anyway.
Yeah, but now the theory going around is that he wants to get a vaccine out there that he can control, so he can put chips in the vaccine.
Chips in the vaccine, yeah. So I can walk up to the register with my fucking palm to pay for shit.
No, just so they could track you as far as what your sickness is, what you got going on.
Listen, I know people have a problem with that, right? And so do I. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to be tracked anyway. But how do you think GPS knows where there's traffic? They're tracking you with your cell phones.
Of course. They're always tracking you.
That movie, you know what movie plays it? And I think it was before its time pretty much, or right on the verge. Enemy of the State with Will Smith.
Yes, I remember that. Wasn't Gene Hackman in that?
Yes, Gene Hackman. That movie is spot on. Now maybe it was a little bit ahead of its time, but now in 2020, not much. No, not much. I guarantee that fucking Google satellite can probably see right through the goddamn roof of my house to my pupil of my eyes. You know what I mean? But that movie was spot on, man. And believe it or not, if it wasn't for eventually it would have come out, but if it wasn't for the WikiLeaks and that one gentleman Snowden,
yeah,
talking about half the stuff, who knows? It may come out today, it may come out tomorrow, or people just might be going around living their life. But another thing, I think the country, prior to all this pandemic, I think they put a lot of stress on you to do other things in life instead of formulating opinions on certain things. Like there's a lot more stuff to worry about, right? You got to worry about your bills. You got to worry about your kids. You got to worry about your job, your house, your taxes. You got to worry about everything under the sun, what shoes you're going to wear, who likes you on Facebook, who hates you on Facebook, who befriends you, who does this, what your Instagram profile looks like, your fucking filters for photos. They put all these options and opinions and everything around you to where you don't think about things you should think about. And that's how they get over on you, getting these weirdos in prior to voting, getting all these different bills to pass, trying to... The only thing that I think survived pretty good is the Second Amendment, that people are hardcore still about that and got their grip on it still. But everything else, man, like a lot of people, they're trying to say, like what you said before with this whole pandemic, that they are trying to gain access to our lives, especially Bill Gates, with all of the chipping, or just letting out the jailbirds, trying to get the votes through them, most likely. Trying to close down mom and pop shops, small businesses, because in all honesty, how many fucking Walmarts and Targets and bigger stores do you need in a 5 mile radius?
Right.
I mean, look where we live. Walmart's here. Walmart's there. Actually, there's one Walmart in every goddamn town.
First of all, between you and me, we got a Target on either side of us.
Yes, we do. Target on either side. We also got a Walmart, right? A Walmart
Right.
down in the EB over there, and Walmart down in OB, NB.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everywhere you go, there's a fucking Walmart. I know. Then you got Costco's going everywhere. All the fast food chains.
Well, I think what's going to happen, and I think you're seeing it start to build, and this is why I say these Democrat governors are making a huge, huge mistake, okay? Because they thought this pandemic was going to be their chance to really get the grip and control that they wanted all along, okay?
Yeah.
It's going to backfire on them bad, because for as many people as you see out there in the front holding the signs and waving, for every one of those people you see, there's 20 that you don't see. They're saying, oh, yeah, we're going to fix your wagon the first chance we get.
And it's not
We're
even...
gonna float your ass right out.
But it's not even Republicans.
No, it's Democrats, too.
Listen, Democrats own businesses. Democrats have jobs.
What about independents?
And
These people forget.
Oh, I know.
The bottom line is this. They have launched a serious attack, and they've been doing it for years, on the middle class of America.
They have. I'm not going to lie. I see it. I see it myself. I mean, you just, even at work, out of nowhere, some guys up north, something happened to one of their machines and it blew up. And then, like I said, this fat guy comes in out of nowhere, all right, looking like a slob, charged me $20 just to look at my compressor to make sure that the compressor looks okay, like it's not going to blow up. And
How the hell would he know without an X-ray machine?
That's what I said, right? He didn't even look at it. He just peeked at it like somebody looking at their kid asleep. Okay, you know what I mean? And I paid him my $20. He wrote me some pamphlet or some receipt. I think
Was he from county or state?
Man, I don't remember now. I haven't seen him in a while. That
was a pretty cheap fee.
Do you know why I haven't seen him in a while? Probably because they realized I wasn't making any money.
Right.
Just like, all right, let's go with this. Just like the state inspections, right? Where I was working at my other place, they made the boss spend $60,000 to put in an underground dynamometer machine to put the car on there, to run the tires, to check all this emissions and whatnot, right? I want to say 4 years in,
they don't even do it anymore.
Now it's all OBD. You plug it in, OBD. Or you can go free to the state, right? Or now they when it was the state, it was like running like shit. Now they privatize the DMVs, and it's like smooth sailing. You go in there, it's like boom, 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 in and out, right? Remember when it was state run? You needed hand sanitizer back then, all right, just to go to the goddamn DMV. Forget fucking Wuhan coronavirus, all right? I would have never. I had to go home and shower 3 times because I felt disgusting. But now they privatized everything, and it's smooth sailing. It's like boom, 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 in and out, no problem. I get my license, I get my plates, you get your registration, everything done. 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean? But that's how it is.
Circle back before any of your friends out there think I'm heartless, because that's where I left it before.
Okay, yeah. Circle back to being heartless.
Okay, because I don't want people to think I'm going to be heartless. Okay, but as I said the last time we talked, okay, I have a very strong emotional side to me and a very strong logical side. I learned a long time ago, okay, and I think this is good advice for everybody, no matter which way you lean. It's never a good idea to let any of those strong emotions affect your decision making on things that require a logical decision. You're always going to be sorry, okay? That being said, when I look at the numbers, and I'm not I'm not that good at math, okay? But I got a little familiarity with how the world of statisticians works, okay? I've done quite a bit of statistics on my own, which I had to do for school. So I know the games they play, okay? Which is why average person watches, let's say, a newscast, puts a poll up on a thing. You know what the first number I shoot to? The little tiny numbers at the bottom where you can't see where it says what the margin of error is. Okay? Because they'll show something, let's say, that shows like an 8-point spread with a margin of error of 5 points. Well, then it ain't really an 8-point spread for sure, is it?
No.
If the margin of error is 5 points. But that being said,
because they show it so fast.
If you take the numbers that we know of that are reasonably reliable, okay, you can argue it, but the overall survivability rate of this virus is anywhere from 98 and up percent, getting closer to 100% survival rate. What I'm saying is this. If you look at the overall population numbers, even an overall statewide number, the numbers are minuscule as far as an actual death rate. The bad part, the emotional part, is if that's your family member, that's part of that minuscule amount that's dying from it, it's bad.
Yeah.
Okay? And everybody has to agree that's bad.
But what about that family? What about that family of 7? I think 4 of them passed away from it.
Yeah, that's real bad. Yeah. Okay, but my point is this: every single death is bad from something like this. But if you keep your wits about you and use the common sense stuff and look at the big picture, sometimes I think we think selfishly. Okay, a lot of things instead of looking at how bad this could be on the whole country, how bad this could be on the world. Okay? If you look at it in the terms of history of the planet, the suffering, as bad as it may be, that one person is doing because of a loss they suffered, okay, is not a determining factor in the big picture. If you get what I'm saying. I know it may sound harsh. It's not meant to be.
Yeah.
But you're talking about a virus that's proven so far to be easily transmissible, but also highly survivable if you use the common sense and protect in a proper way those that are vulnerable. Okay? And when I say vulnerable, I don't mean just older people. I mean you, me, my son. Mm-hmm. People have those underlying things that could cause them a problem.
And that's the people, like you were saying earlier, if they allow us individuals to make the choice whether to go out or not. You know what I mean? Like, it's my choice to go to the store. If I know I'm going to go to the store, I'm going to, address it properly. I'm going to make sure I have my hand sanitizer, my mask.
Do what you think you need to do to stay safe, which is what anybody should do.
Exactly. Listen, I was doing that regardless.
But the truth of the matter is, there comes a point, because this is America and because of the Constitution we have it is your choice. And the government can't keep taking it away from you. You have to be allowed to make it. That's what I'm saying.
If this was a virus that had like a 80% and above, death toll, like anybody can get it super fast and just pass away 1, 2, 3, then I can see the government having everybody stay home.
Right, but this doesn't warrant it.
Right? I think I know they do a lot of comparisons with the 1918 plague and whatnot, but was that worse than what we're having now? I believe so.
Probably by the total number of deaths.
Total number of deaths, and then I think...
Probably by the total number of deaths, but I'm not even sure. I'd have to check that.
Yeah, I'd have to check that too, so I'm not 100% positive. But
because of the global nature of this...
Yeah.
The number's getting about to where that number was.
Yeah. Now, I remember reading about it and watching some documentaries about it, how 1918, people really didn't start to become full back to normal until like 3 to 4 years later. I'm talking about like not going out
Yep.
with a mask, actually hugging somebody or shaking somebody's hand or going to the movies or getting in a car, a taxi, with somebody, not their family member or a friend type of thing. I think it took like 3 or 4 years. Now, I don't know how it's going to play out now. Tomorrow.
Here's what I can tell you. Okay, you can say anybody can say anything they want. Okay, obviously it's the scientists, the doctors, the researchers, whatever that work on this shit. Okay, but I'd say this: at this time in this country, this president is going to be the guy that's going to get us a vaccine for this virus by the end of the year. I almost can
I hope
guarantee
so.
it.
Well, if he wins again,
Because
I
this
hope he
guy doesn't take
continues.
no for an answer.
I know.
He talks to these medical people and he goes, I don't give a shit what it costs. I don't care what you got to do. I want to see a vaccine. If you can't do it, I'll get somebody who can.
Well, I was talking to somebody, I think a couple days ago, and we were talking about how, Trump got us out of the WHO. And I'm thinking to myself, he's doing the Space Force and all that. Why doesn't he do the USO or the ASO?
Well, there's already a USO.
What is that, the CDC?
No, that's the USO is the ones that used to do all Bob Hope shows and everything for.
Nah, I'm
for
not talking
everything
about that. I'm talking about the instead of the World Health Organization. Yeah, I was saying USO, not the instead of the World Health, like the American Health Organization.
So say AHO.
AHO. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Call it aho. Yeah, I don't know where I got USO from, but call it aho.
Oh,
Imagine Trump doing a live broadcast on that.
he would do it though. He would do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna create a hoe. Stormy Daniels comes back out of the woodworks. Hey, wait a minute. But
American Health Organization.
but
Sure.
listen, if
Oh,
but if we're not gonna pay for the World Health Organization, at least we should make something for the United States Health Organization. You know what I mean?
oh, Trump will do that. Trump will do that.
That's what he should do. So in case something does break out, they can be like, "Hey, this shit is serious. Close it down." And I don't care. Listen, I'm not one person, okay? I'm for the American people. If you're here in this country, all right, whether you're a citizen or not, at this point, you're an American person. So if shit goes down in another country and we got to close the fucking borders to protect who is inside our house, I'm not going to call you racist. I'm not going to call you martial law. I'll be like, listen, if you're protecting me like that because of that, go ahead. If I don't have to worry about dying or worrying anybody in my family dying, do what you got to do to protect us internally. But allow things to keep going internally so that way we can still live our lives.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's
know what I mean?
that's common sense.
Well, that's why it boggled my mind when he was talking about banning, the travel from China to us. And people were like, oh, he's racist. Like, no, he's not fucking racist. He's fucking trying to save your life. Like, why are you complaining?
Dude, I don't know if you've been paying attention. You know Kamala Harris, right?
Yeah.
Also at the top of Biden's VP list. There you go. Perfect choice. Woman of color.
Yeah.
That bimbo is still pushing to ban Americans from being able to call it the Wuhan or Chinese virus.
I know. I kind of like when
Why?
kind of
For
like
what?
he was like, why?
At this point, can you convince anybody that it didn't come from there?
Well, when they were asking Trump, why do you call it the Wuhan virus? He like looks around and he goes, because it came from China. Oh man, that's still funny. Yeah, because he like emphasized it, man. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm just living my life one day at a time. I'm enjoying staying with my family. Seeing my children grow up. I know one day, obviously, I'm gonna have to go back to work, and everybody's gonna have to deal with it, my family including. But open up, man. Leave it up to the people. If you don't want to go to Target, you don't want to go to Home Depot, you don't want to go to ShopRite or A&P or Acme or Stop and Shop or Walmart's, you don't want to go to the beach, you don't want to go to the movies. It's up to you. It's up to the individual. If you don't want to go, don't fucking go.
I'm going to make a couple predictions for you. Okay? If, like in the state of New Jersey, these pinhead morons don't cut the shit and let Americans make the choices that they're perfectly capable of making, okay? They're going to be very sorry because they're not going to even be able to fathom the level of revolt that is going to come their way. Okay, that's number one. Number two, this is my prediction for the entire country. Right now is the time, and I've been kind of like a student of history for a long time, okay, of trends that our country goes through, okay? Right now is the time, and it is the only time we're going to have to get this country back on the right track, okay? But what it's going to require is this president to get reelected, but that is not enough to do it. He needs to not only maintain control of the Senate, but increase the majority in the Senate, but almost, if not more importantly, the Republicans, and I only say Republicans because in this country, those are the two parties, the Democrats or the Republicans. If the Republicans don't retake control of the House, okay, you're going to actually see like a internal civil war in this country because the Democrats are not going to abandon their horseshit, okay? They're going to push the people too far, and they're not going to tolerate it much longer. The only real hope we got to really progress quickly is those three things. If the president's reelected, they keep and even increase control of the Senate and retake control of the House. Because here's why. This president is the only president in my lifetime that will. If he gets control of the House and the Senate and the presidency, he will turn every one of those fucking Republicans in that tries to play games. He will be the one president that will say, now you have no excuse. Now we have the majority. Now it's time for us to do the right thing for this country, and you don't want to do it? I'm going to rat you out to the American people.
Yeah.
Because no other president would do that.
No, because you know what? He's not a politician. He's
no.
And people have to understand that. The man is a boss, and that's how he's treating it. Like he's the boss.
Yeah. If you really think about everything, that's why he gets so much shit done. You know, I tell you what, I don't care what people say. His first 2 years in office, the Republicans had control of the House.
Yep.
That was the time for him to get a lot of shit done that he could have got done. The Republicans that were there didn't want to get it done. What does that tell you?
That they're not even for the people.
Have you noticed how many Republicans have actually, over the last 3 years, like retired out? Just said they're not running again, going away. They see the writing on the wall. They know. It doesn't matter which party you're in anymore. If this president is there, you better do what the fucking people elected you to do, or this guy is going to make your life miserable.
I know.
You all know it.
You think I'm actually I want to watch. I don't know the lady's name. I should look it up. But the lady who's running against AOC.
Oh yeah.
I think she might win, man. I think that we never.
I think she's gonna win.
I don't think we're ever gonna see AOC again after this.
I think she's gonna win,
especially after screwing them with the whole Amazon deal.
Yeah, and it was a funny thing too because AOC didn't get the nomination to be on the ticket she wanted to be on.
Yeah,
I forget which ticket it was, but she's not on the ballot.
Well, didn't she say she was coming for Schumer?
She probably did.
Isn't that what she wanted to do? She wanted Schumer's job.
Yeah, well, she'll never get it.
I'm surprised Pelosi. Listen, I'm surprised Pelosi hasn't taken her out yet.
No, I mean, it saddens me on the one hand, but you know what? I got to tell you something, okay? prior to this pandemic, like it boggles my mind what the mainstream media is pushing all the time with the garbage, because going around and having, let's say, freedom to observe people openly, no matter where I went, people in general, always in general, because you always got to have the outliers here and there, were friendlier, happier, seem more prosperous, spending money like gangsters. Okay, you ain't spending money like gangsters unless you got money coming in. Okay, so why is this mainstream media and these Democrats claiming gloom and doom across the thing? Until this fucking pandemic, life was starting to head pretty good.
Oh, I know, it definitely was, and in the stock market especially, it was up. It was way up there. In fact, I think now it's around between 24 and 26 again.
Yeah, guess what? This is in the middle of a pandemic. I think, if I'm not mistaken,
And we're still higher than it was under Obama.
I think, listen, dude, somebody can fact check me if you want, but I think before Trump came in, I think the highest Obama had was like 14.
Well, I think it was between 14 and 18. Unless it went to 18 when people realized Trump was going to win. I'm not 100%.
Yeah, I think it shot up right before he clinched it.
Okay.
But I think Obama was roughly low the whole time. You know, I tell my wife all the time, because I look and she gets annoyed at me, because I'll see, like, you know, in the corner of the screen they have the ticker showing the changes.
Yeah.
I'll be like, up above 24 again. He's like, shut up. What do I care?
I know. I watch that sometimes when I'm watching different news channels, and you can see it. And I'm like, I guess I want to say the last 2-3 weeks, it's been between 24 and 26 from what I remember.
Yeah.
So it's still up there. I guess people are making money. I think my one buddy, I think right when the pandemic hit, he opened up some stock stuff. And he's like, the return is phenomenal right now because it's shot up again. And I'm like, well, make your money, man. That's it. Make your money, buy and sell, and just get out. Don't get greedy.
That's the time to do it.
Don't get greedy, man. But what do you think about Biden, man?
In what sense?
Like, what do you think of the guy in general? You think he's going to go anywhere? You think he might win?
No, I got to tell you the truth, and I'm no doctor. I said this before. I think the guy is really losing his marbles.
You think dementia?
Yeah.
Did you see?
He's losing it. I mean, that comment he made
on the Charlemagne show,
the
Breakfast Club, right?
Yeah. If you can't decide, then you ain't black.
Yeah.
Dude, not for nothing. You ever listen to Tyrus?
Who?
Tyrus, he's on Fox. He's on. Has a show on Fox Nation, and then he'll do different shows. Like he's on the Gutfeld show at night a lot of times.
Okay, no,
he's a wrestler.
Oh wait, he's the heavyset guy with the hat.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've seen him before. I don't. I'll listen to a show. I know who you're talking about though.
Tyrus, I think probably Saturday night, said the best thing anybody could have said about it. Biden had like a 10-second spot where he woke up and said exactly what he would have said in that regard when he was running like in the 70s and 80s for something.
Yeah.
He woke up to, I'm in politician mode. Yeah. He slammed it down and he had to walk it back like 2 days ago.
I don't know.
Like Tyler said, now that's done. You ain't going to hear shit from him.
No.
He said, what you're going to see now is you're going to see a Biden picture. There'll be some soft music, and somebody else will be doing like the voice of whatever they're going to say. They're not going to let him talk.
No, they're definitely not going to let him talk.
Yeah,
I even think, I'm sorry to say to the people that like the guy, that he actually ended his own campaign right there, especially for the African American, people that were going to vote for him, or maybe still are, but the way he said it was, almost, I don't want to say racist, but it was just the way he said it was like if I was an African American person, I'd be like, fuck did he just say? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not black enough because I don't vote for you.
Because think about this. This has been the Democratic Party for as long as I can remember now. So there's somebody said it. And I think it's very applicable. They said something. It goes something like it. If you're not a liberal in your 20s, you have no heart. If you're not a conservative in your 40s, you have no brain.
Yeah.
Okay. Now.
Yeah, but being liberal is different than being Democrat.
Well, not anymore. See, that's the thing I want to tell you. For the longest time, Democrats could be more moderate, and you could, first of all, dude, the first president I remember was John F. Kennedy. If you listen to him now, okay, most of these Democrats would think he's more conservative than Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Listening to him talk.
Well, because where he came from, I mean, where his upbringings and whatnot.
Yeah.
And even though he ran, even though he was, Democrat, I definitely understand what you're saying.
Okay. So the times have changed a lot as far as that goes. But what I'm saying is Biden, and I thought Tyrus hit the nail right on the head. He didn't make that shit up. That's what he believed his whole political career up until this point. That, what are you kidding me? I'm the Democrat. You got to vote for me because we're the ones who are going to take care of you.
Yeah.
You people. Okay, that's the only part he didn't say.
Well,
you people,
I know. But the funny thing is, now after that, I'm seeing a lot of videos of him just lying his whole life.
He always has. He
was in some type of march that he wasn't. He graduated college. Was it Harvard or Yale or something? And
he lied to that guy. He lied to that guy that he's always been fully endorsed by the NAACP. The NAACP came out with a statement. They've never endorsed anybody.
And they were like, after what he said, they definitely aren't. I think they said, right?
No, but they never have. They don't do endorsements.
No, why would they? Because that's a. Did you see the show The Last Dance?
Last Dance, no.
With it's Michael Jordan and the Bulls. It's on ESPN. You got to check it out. I think it's probably on demand. I think that's where I saw it last. But I remember back in the day, they were talking about even Michael Jordan, when he was like big time, shoes and everything. And I forgot the gentleman's name who was running for, I think it was North Carolina, was it? Greer, maybe? I don't know. It was an African-American gentleman who was running, and they wanted Michael Jordan to endorse him publicly. And Michael Jordan didn't because he said something along the lines where, listen, Republicans buy my shoes too. You know what I mean? So, not that he didn't want to endorse the guy. He just didn't want to seem like...
in the recent past?
A long time ago when he was younger, probably in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you got to understand where he was coming from. Like, he doesn't want to be seen as one or the other because that can hurt. I don't want to say it's going to hurt his image, but, he wasn't about politics. People are saying that stuff about his image, and he did say that, and maybe he shouldn't have said that. But you got to understand, the man didn't care about politics. You know what I mean? He cared more about playing the game of basketball and doing what he promised Chicago, bringing them a title, which he did 6 times. Okay,
right.
But it's almost like that today. Like, Biden says that, and it's like, bam, he fucking meant it. You know what I mean? It's like
that's a wake up moment from his past.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like when he said it, he slammed the table, and like I had to watch it 3 or 4 times just to fathom what he said, And even Charlemagne was even like, "What?"
Dude, I don't know. Have you seen any of his other little podcast things or whatever? All the clips I've seen. It's incomprehensible, half the stuff he's saying. Nobody knows what he's trying to say. The one thing that he says crystal clear is the most offensive thing he could have come up with.
That's what I'm saying. Wait, where was that one when he said, I'll never win, vote for Trump or something? Did he say something like that? It was insane.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Got the wife. All right. I don't know, man. I don't know how it's going to play out. Honestly, I think Trump's going to win. It might. Who knows, man? Listen, fucking 2020 is the craziest year that I've been alive so far. Okay? So, who knows what's going to happen? Something crazy might happen. Trump might win. Fucking Biden might come out of the woodworks and win. Who knows at this point what's going to happen? But I have a strong feeling that Trump's going to win again. Everybody's going to win. The Republicans are going to win, and things are probably going to change. Hopefully for the better. You know,
I predicted his first win. I predict the second win for him. But what I'm hoping for, because I'm still analyzing the way I'm getting through different blurbs. I still said we need the House and the Senate to really move the country forward like we should. Just remember this thought. If you have any doubts, you're showing polls, even Fox polls showing Biden 48 to 42 or whatever.
Yeah. I saw that.
Never forget, in 2016,
they did the same thing.
Predicted Hillary was going to win 100 million to 0.
I know. Because you know why?
The polls are full of shit.
The polls are full of shit, and then whoever they're asking, they're not asking the right fucking people.
Well, they're not asking the right people. They're not asking the right questions. I'm telling you, polls is like probably one of the worst things you can actually do. The only thing that's probably good as a poll is like a taste test. If you get somebody right there and you have them taste something and you say, do you like it, yes or no? Then you're probably going to get honest results. If you do 1,000 people and you get 80% of them say yes, then the majority of people probably will like it.
Listen, I wouldn't even like polls anyway, because if they ask the same people that they ask who won the Civil War and they don't know the answer and they don't know why everything occurred, then I don't believe their poll answer anyway.
Dude, I was doing a research project that was going to be the basis of my thesis. And the teacher of statistics, I told her, doing this way, the numbers are not bearing out the premise I'm making. Like I'm saying, I'm doing this work and it's not coming out. No problem, she says. Just change this and we'll get the numbers you want. It wasn't supposed to be getting the numbers I want. It was supposed to prove, was my theory right or wrong?
Well, that's what polling is, man. They listen.
They don't care. They don't care what's right or wrong. That's the difference.
Have you seen that show Narcos on Netflix?
No.
Okay, the show Narcos, and I'm also watching this new show on Prime. I think it's called Jack Ryan, actually, and where they're in Venezuela.
That's the one from the spinoff of the movie Jack Ryan.
I don't know. I've never seen the movie, but
Tom Clancy character.
Tom Clancy, yeah, Tom Clancy character. Okay, and right now the season 2, they're in Venezuela, right? And there's actually the two presidents, or the one is president, and there's an election, right? And they're showing the pollings and everything like that. And even in the show Narcos, back in the day, Mexico, when they had the huge thing, I guess in the 80s with the presidency, I think polling is to either scare people not to come out and vote because they realize that their candidate's either going to not win or win.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why I don't believe that shit. That's why I don't believe any of that polling shit. Right. And I honestly think, I have a strong feeling that this year, if people don't go out to vote, now this whole thing with the mail-in ballots, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I think the Democrats are pushing it more and more. Now, maybe they're pushing it because obviously they can control it, lose them type of thing, you know what I mean? But I feel that if you do mail-in ballots and people don't got to leave their homes, but they get a chance to vote, that might even destroy them more.
Oh, yeah. It's already been shown that. I don't know where it was, but they did a heavy, it was for their primary. They did a heavy mail-in vote thing.
Okay.
And all the Republicans took advantage of it and voted. So it backfired on them.
That's what I'm saying. So maybe, who knows, man? Obviously shit can get lost when it's in paper trail. But
the truth of the matter is, and you know what? I never realized how dirty they are. Okay, but Democrats have been engaging in all kinds of voter fraud for probably 3 decades. Okay, starting with keeping people on the voter registration rolls who are dead. Okay, listen, every county in the country, every county controls voter registration records, right?
Yeah.
And death records. How hard would it be to have them every time there's going to be an election double check what's your recent death records, what's your current voter registration? If you see that death and it matches up, take them off the register list. No, the Democrats blocked them from being able to do that. Why?
Because
Why?
because my grandmother is still voting to this day.
Exactly.
I know. That's you know that's how they
Okay.
get
I
it.
don't know if you've seen it, but somewhere Democratic, what they call an election judge in that area, got charged with and pled guilty to making up like several hundred fraudulent votes. He was fixing an election.
Let me tell you something. Since 2016, there has been so much shit that has come out in the open. All the behind the scenes bullshit that, don't get me wrong, both parties were doing. Okay.
Yeah.
That's just come to the light, and I hope people, Democratic, Republican, even liberal, even independent. I just hope everybody sees this and just makes the right choice, for themselves and just for the people as a whole.
I got to tell you, bud, I spent a long time seeing the best and worst in people. Okay. And by and large, I got to tell you, I got a lot of faith in the American people. I really do. Okay.
We can come together.
Huh?
We can come together. Look at 9/11. Everybody came together. Every race, religion out there. Because you know what?
Yeah, all ages, even though some people have an occasional, little kookadoo thought here and there, doesn't mean their heart ain't in the right place. Okay. In the end, people always, I think, really want to do what's best. What you really have is this. I don't care what anybody says. It's the mainstream leftist media, which is an arm of the far left Democratic Party, okay, which is a vocal minority. Between the two, they're almost controlling the airwaves.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's where you're going to come in, my friend. This is going to be your domain. What's got to stop is this bullshit on social media, because they started to realize, we don't control social media, and people can get the word out to so many more people through that method. Well, now you got the social media giants clamping down. They're censoring people.
I know. Like Mark Dice. You know who Mark Dice is, right?
Yeah.
Mark Dice, they're trying to censor him. If you talk about the virus or anything on like YouTube or something, they shut you down.
Oh, they shut you right down.
Personally, I like watching or listening to the independent journalists that do have YouTube shows or podcasts, or any type of social media outlet that you can listen to, because I feel like they're coming with it, without not really an opinion, but they're coming at it with more truth to it. They're not trying to fuck around, man. They're coming out with listen, the sky is blue, the sky is blue. They're not CNN or Fox or anybody else telling you that, hey, the sky is green. This is why it's green, and they give you this whole spiel on why it's green, and you're like, holy shit, maybe the sky is fucking green. You know what I mean? These people are coming out and just telling you the truth.
Well, I'm willing to listen, and I go through this a lot of times, even on Facebook with stuff. I'll get into little stuff going back and forth, with people. I'm willing to listen to both sides of any argument. I want to hear both sides, and I want to be able to make my own choice.
Without a doubt.
What I see too much of, okay, and this is what the heads of the companies are doing, is like anybody that I get to, I start to show another side of what they think they know. Instead of going, I never thought about that, or yeah, but I really don't agree with that. No. The response is, oh, I'm not going to talk to you, or I'm not going to listen to you, or you must be a racist, or you must be this, or you must be that.
A bigot, misogynist, racist.
And I usually zing them a little further and just go, oh, the name calling has begun. Obviously, you can't deal with the facts I've presented for you.
You know where it's big
But
time?
but the social media heads shutting people down, that's not right. If you don't want to hear what I got to say, you don't have to listen. They shouldn't be denying you the right to hear it.
You know what's causing all that? Name calling and all that stuff? Majority of it is because people are home safe, talking all that shit from the safety of their homes on a computer screen.
Right.
Now flash their fucking address after they talk that shit, okay? And see how much shit they talk after that.
Right.
You know what I mean? What was that movie? Jay and Silent Bob, I think Dogma, where they went to the kid's house because he was talking shit over the video games back then.
Yeah.
It was hardcore before all that social media shit, but he was on the video game talking shit, and they showed up at his door, and they're like, "Hey, man, are you so-and-so?" There was a little kid, and they punched him in the face. Right? Have that shit happen after people talk shit, and then see how many people are going to talk shit after the fact, right? Because once you're in front of somebody, like, don't get me wrong, neutral as I am, if I'm walking down the street, and let's say I have a hat on, and it's red, and somebody thinks it's a Trump hat, and they try beating me up for it or taking it off my hat, I'm not going to be, even if I'm on film. You know, if somebody lays a hand on me, man, if I can, they're getting beat the shit out of. You know what I mean? Put that shit out all over World Star. I'll go famous with that. I don't care. But I'm trying to say is a lot of people think that there's some type of safety barrier where you know they'll poke me in the side, and then I'm not going to be that bear that's going to attack them back. And that's the problem. I think a lot of people are comfortable with attacking somebody without any consequences. And
oh yeah, definitely.
And my whole thing is this: I don't care who you are, but you fuck with me, man, and I'm gonna fuck with you back. That's 100%. Okay, especially if you mess with my family. Like I can take the beating myself. I don't care. I could walk off and be like whatever. But especially if you mess with somebody's family. I forgot there was an African-American gentleman in New York, and he was talking. I think he was a Trump fan, and he was talking before we go. And somebody did something to him. They threw something at him. And I never forget, he stopped his speech, and he looked right at the guy. He goes, "Hey, man, I don't know what you see on TV, but I'll come over there and fuck you up. Don't think this is," you know what I mean? And that guy didn't bother him after that. Nobody bothered him. Because that guy said, man, he's going to fuck you up. It means it's going to fuck you up. You better walk away. So, but that's it, man. That's, you know, that's what we have to deal with in today's 2020. Let's hope 2021 is a lot better than it is now, and thing gets back to normal. You know, I know my wife wants my kids to go to school. They're driving her crazy, but let's hope everything gets back to normal, man. Hope everybody out there is safe and healthy.
My prediction is that for the majority of people, now that we know a lot more than we did when it started, things are going to become much safer, and people are going to get back to a more normal lifestyle, and it'll probably be healthier. Because you know what? We picked up some good habits during this too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna do just fine.
Hey, listen, when there's a will, there's a way.
Always.
You know, and like I said, you know, just make sure you're clean. Make sure you, you know, if you do have an underlying issue, take care of yourself for that underlying issue. If you're safe and healthy, still take care of yourself so that way you don't come in contact with somebody that isn't healthy. You know what I mean? And you're the reason why they're either sick or you know, going to pass away because of that. Just everybody got to keep clean, keep doing what they're doing to stay safe and healthy. And eventually, little by little, it'll work itself out in a way. We'll develop an immunity, a vaccine, and then we should be okay until the next one hits.
Exactly.
That's about it. But all right, Paul.
I guess, buddy, it was good talking to you.
Always a pleasure.
Such a long time.
I'm happy you came on. Listen, we'll do it again, man. Do it again any day during the week. Right. I got no problem.
All right.
And everybody that's listening or watching, I thank you as well. And then we'll do this again. Everybody out there, stay safe and healthy, and you know, be well.
Good night, everybody.
All right. Good night. Talk to you later, Paul.
Take care.
All right. Bye. If you like this video, click subscribe and the notification bell to get notified of future videos.